Warmly welcome to the Inclusion is on training for youth workers. Great to have you here. The training model consists of several parts, all of them based on the contents of the tool pack produced as part of the Erasmus Plus partnership. Inclusion is on, implemented in 2021 to 2024 by 7 partners from 6 European countries. Funded by the European Union. Views and opinions expressed are however those of the authors only and do not necessarily reflect those of the European Union or the European Education and Culture Executive Agency, EACEA. Neither the European Union nor EACEA can be held responsible for them. We start with an introduction to the Inclusion is on project. After that we'll have some warm-up activities, do a short quiz on social inclusion and familiarize ourselves to the concept of safer spaces. After that we will get to know some good practices from the partners to the project. You will also be introduced to the innovation model produced as part of the project, which supports creating new tools to tackle chosen challenges. You can start creating your own tool right away, or just get to know the tools produced by the partners to the project. The training lasts for around 2 hours, depending a bit on your speed and amount of participants. Introduction of the Inclusion is on project. The aim of the project, implemented in 2021 to 2024, was to share good practices and innovate new tools to promote social inclusion in youth free time activities. We had trainings in all the partner countries and the outputs include 2 surveys, innovation model, tool pack, training model and podcast series. In the last slide of this training, you can find a link that leads you to the website with all the materials. Projects are more fun with partners. Inclusion is on was a collaboration between 7 organizations from 6 different European countries, Finland, Czech Republic, Estonia, Hungary, Italy, and Croatia. All the partners had slightly different backgrounds, for example offering different kinds of free time activities for youth. The idea was to bring together diverse experiences and perspectives. Before diving into the deep end, let's warm up a bit. First, I'd like you to think for a minute just by yourselves. What is the first thing that comes to your mind about equality in free time activities? Please pause the video for a minute. For this exercise you'll need a pen and post-its, or you can use, for example, a notes app on your phone or laptop. Let's create a word cloud. Write down all the words that come to your mind when you think about social inclusion. What does it mean to you? Use some 2 or 3 minutes for this and then gather together all the ideas so that it is easy to see them for all. Pause the video for some minutes and continue when ready. Let's continue. Time to chat with a pair or in a small group. Have a look at the word cloud. What kind of thoughts does it raise in you? Is there something that surprises you? Pause the video for a couple of minutes and discuss. Now that we're all warmed up, let's do a short quiz on social inclusion. You can write down your answers, if you want to. If you feel like you need more time to think about the answers, you can again pause the video between the questions. After you have answered all the questions, I will let you know the correct answers. Ready, set, go. What is the picture about? A. Inclusion. B. Exclusion. C. Integration. D. Segregation. Which of the following factors are usually connected to risk of social exclusion? A. Disabilities. B. Socioeconomic status. C. Migration status. D. Gender identity. In Europe, the risk of poverty and social exclusion concerns how many of young people? A. All. B. Half. C. 1/3. D. 1/5. What is the picture about? A. Inclusion. B. Exclusion. C. Integration. D. Segregation. Social inclusion is the process of improving the terms for individuals and groups to take part in what? A. Free time activities. B. Politics. C. Society. D. Sports. Social inclusion can, for example, be improved by shifts in what? A. Cultural habits. B. Personalities. C. Attitudes. D. Sleeping habits. Fostering the what of marginalized groups is a remarkable means to tackle social exclusion. A. Sense of taste. B. Sense of sight. C. Sense of belonging. D. Sense of touch. Promoting social inclusion is also one of the core priorities of the what? A. European Youth Law. B. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. C. EU Green Deal. D. EU Youth Strategy. Thank you for participating in the quiz. Let's now go through the correct answers. This picture is about exclusion, so B is the correct answer. All these factors are connected with the risk of social exclusion, so A, B, C, and D are all correct answers. The correct answer is C, 1/3 of young people. This picture is about inclusion, so the correct answer is A. The correct answer is C, to take part in society. Social inclusion can be improved by shifts in attitudes. Correct answer is C. This was easy, I suppose. The correct answer is C, sense of belonging. Promoting social inclusion is one of the core priorities of the EU Youth Strategy, which means that the correct answer is D. That was all the correct answers. Thank you for participating. How many answers did you manage to get right? You can pause the video for a minute to see who won the quiz. Let's move on to the concept of safer spaces. What are we talking about? Can someone describe what are safer spaces or safer space principles? If no one is familiar with the topic, you can also just try to guess. Pause the video for a minute or two. Thanks for the discussions. If you are not familiar with the concept, here's a brief introduction to it. So the concept of safer spaces refers to inclusive environments where everyone can feel comfortable being and expressing themselves as they are. The purpose of so-called safer space principles is to provide a tool and guidelines or policies for participants or groups to an activity or an event to support creating this kind of safer environments. The main idea is to create conscience, not to be perfect. Safer space principles are usually presented as a poster or similar or published and presented to the participants online. You can pause the video for 5 minutes to Google the concept to see more practical examples, if you wish. One part of the Inclusion is On project was to share good practices related to social inclusion and youth free time activities between the partners. Next, you're going to learn more about these. First, take a good look on the topics of the good practices on this slide. Pause the video for more or less a minute. Great. Now first follow the link on the slide to find more information on the good practices. Now form pairs or small groups and choose one good practice per pair or group to read more about. Take some 15 minutes to take a closer look on the selected good practice. After that, prepare to pitch or introduce it in maximum 3 minutes for the rest of the pairs or groups. Pause the video now and continue once ready. Now that you are familiar with the good practices, or at least some of them, choose one that you are most interested in and take some time to discuss the questions on this slide with a pair or in a small group. What kind of thoughts does the good practice raise in you? Do you have anything in mind you would like to add on the good practice? How would the good practice or parts of it fit your own work? Do you have some other similar kind of good practice in mind that you would like to share? Pause the video. Innovating new tools. Take the first steps to create a tool. I will start by introducing the idea and parts of the innovation model, after which you can start workshopping to create your own tool with the support of the model. The innovation model can be used to create one's own tools to promote social inclusion and accessibility, or it can also be applied to other thematical areas. It is based on design thinking methods and it offers a systematic approach and structured framework to problem solving. The innovation model consists of 4 phases, employing a collaborative working approach and ideally leveraging real data from beneficiaries. The model be used as a whole, or the steps can be applied separately to different needs. You can work on your own, but it is recommended to form a group of 3 to 5 participants to workshop with. You only need pens, papers, and time. Before starting the innovation process, it is recommended to conduct a short survey or a mapping with relevant beneficiaries about the problem to solve. It is also recommended to have feedback rounds with beneficiaries and stakeholders between the different steps of the model. However, these are not included in the simplified version of the innovation model which follows here. The idea for now is to just give you a quick overview on the steps of the model. You can find the complete version of the innovation model with more detailed instructions on the project results website. The innovation process begins with a problem 3. Define the problem in the middle of the tree, its consequences on the top of the tree and underlying causes at the roots of the tree. The problem tree is complemented with a so-called 5 whys technique, which leads you to consider more in detail the causes of the problem. Next step is to identify the target group and stakeholders. What is the target group? Who is also affected by the problem? Who can affect it? Understanding a problem necessitates a comprehensive grasp of the target group and stakeholders, providing insights into the issues at hand. Then, personas. This step refers to creating profiles for average, fictional users representing the target group to understand the individuals affected by the solution, fostering a human-centric approach. Time to move on to the more creative part. In this step you start generating as many ideas as possible to tackle the selected problem. Here quantity goes over quality. After brainstorming, the ideas are grouped based on their similarity, their pros and cons are defined, and the most promising idea is selected as the foundation for a prototype. The next step is to create a prototype and develop it little by little. After the prototype is finished, it's time to make it real. This step includes resource planning, activity planning, sustainability assessment, cost estimation, risk assessment and mitigation, and stakeholder communication. The complete version of the innovation model includes more detailed instructions for each of these. The last step is to pitch the tool. This means preparing a short presentation, for example, outlining the problem, solution, value proposition, benefits, and outcomes. Those were all the steps of the innovation model in brief. If you have pens, paper, and time, you can now start working on your own tool by creating a problem tree and answering the 5 whys. First, form small groups of 3 to 5 persons, and then in each group draw a big tree on paper. Specify the problem in the middle of the tree and think about its consequences and causes. After this, consider the 5 whys. You need some 20 to 30 minutes for working on this. You can pause the video now. Let's move on to our last topic, which is about getting to know the tools that the project partners created with the support of the innovation model during the inclusion is on project. This part is similar to that of the good practices. First, take a good look on the topics of the tools on this slide. Pause the video for 1 minute now. Now again form pairs or small groups and choose one tool you would like to know more about. Then go to the project results website through the link on the slide and familiarize yourself with the selected tool. Pause the video for about 10 minutes now. Last, present the idea and main points of the tool you and your pair or group selected briefly, in a maximum of 3 minutes, to others. Pause the video now and continue once each pair or group has presented their selected tools. Now that you are a bit more familiar with the tools, or at least some of them, choose one that you are most interested in and take some time to discuss the questions on this slide with a pair or in a small group. What kind of thoughts does the tool raise in you? Do you have anything in mind you would like to add on the tool? How would the tool or parts of it fit to your own work? Do you have some other similar kind of tools in mind you would like to share? Pause the video. We have now reached the end of the training. A big thank you for this training session. Hope you had a good time and got some new ideas to use in your own work. On this last slide you can again see the link to the project results website where you can find all the materials produced by the Inclusion is On project. Once more, thank you, and have a great day.